Hello, everyone. My name is Fahad Hassan, and my topic is an essay by E.B White, Once More to the Lake. If we read the title of the essay, we may guess that Once More to the Lake um, is an echo of author's past experience, and he wants to visit that place again. And we may guess that he is visiting a place that he has visited before, and he has some cherished memories and beautiful memories related with it. Nextly, the setting of the essay is also quite important because the place he talks about in his essay is a lake which is located in the state of Maine, which is quite interesting and ironical because most of the Western American writers, their settings were the Western America. For example, their settings maybe California, Utah, or Arizona, or any other place in the West. But E.B. White talks about a lake which is located in the state of Maine, which is and state of Maine is extremely in the east of United States. But one thing is important. The state of Maine is also a pretty place. There are a lot of lakes. There are a lot of beaches, and it is less populated than other Eastern American states. And now I will discuss about a short summary of the essay. The essay starts. The essay starts by remembering his family visit to a lake in every summer. Author remembers that every summer in the month of August, he and his family used to visit a lake, and they uh, spent a whole month there. And author confesses that there are a lot of beautiful and cherishable memories are connected with that place. And he feels overwhelmed with his memories of past, and he wants to visit again that lake. So he decides to visit that lake again, and he takes his son with him, who has never visited any lake or beach before. So he takes his son and he reaches to the lake. And when he reaches to the lake, he wonders that nothing has changed. The tracks, the roads, the water of lake, the boats, the other environment of the lake is remain same. And he starts seeing his reflection in his son. He actually simulated the past with the present. He cannot distinguish whether he is visiting himself with his father, or he is with his son. He sees his reflection in his son. He considers that his son is himself and he is his father. So he lives with a dual existence. For example, on the second day of their visit, when they were fly fishing, he sees a dragonfly, and when he sees that dragonfly, he remembers that, or he forgets that whether he is in present or he is in past. And he also notices that the tracks of the near the lakes are same, the waitresses are the same, and nothing really changes. But he also talks about a few differences that has occurred now. For example, he talks about that the technology has bring some detrimental effects to the lake. For example, he discusses that when he and his family used to come there at lake, they used to come on a farm wagon, and it took a lot of time, and they were quite excited, and with a lot of excitement they used to bring their luggage. So but now they are visiting on a car, and there is no excitement, and they just unload their bags, and the excitement is over. Furthermore, he also talks about the new boats that brings a lot of noise in the place of lake, that their sound, the new boat sounds with new engines, has really disturbs the lake. Furthermore, he always remain in between his past and present, and they spend a whole after spending a whole week in a rain, when he sees his son in the rain, and his illusion of the past breaks, and he remembers that one day he will also become a memory, and he is also gonna die, and his son gonna take his place again. And now I will discuss about some themes and analysis of the story. In discussing themes, I will discuss about some generic theme first. For example, which the themes which has discussed the other Western genre writers before. First of all, technology, the detrimental effects of technology that bring in the life of nature and in the life of human beings. Uh, in this essay, there are two examples where he criticizes the modernization and the technology. For example, when they used to come, when he used to come with his family at the lake, they first of all took a lot of luggage. They used trunks which are heavily loaded, and they used farm wagons which took a lot of time to reach the lake, and they were very excited to see the lake, and there was a pretty much excitement involved in their journey. But now he says we are coming on the cars, and we in 2 minutes we unload our luggage, and there is no excitement at all. And next he says the he also criticizes the boats in the lakes, that the boats are more noisier than the old one. The new engines were more noisier, and it disturbs and it disrupts the peace and the duality of the place. For example, there is a quotation there. He says, sometimes these boats sometimes break the illusion and the satire moving. These motors made petulant and irritable sounds. The next theme is wilderness. As the other Western writers, they continuously have been using the theme of wilderness. E.B. White also um, bring this theme with his in his essay. For example, he says he loves the lake, and none of us ever thought there was any place in the world like that lake in the main. And he is always overwhelmed with the memories of lake. He confesses that in the busy life of city, he is so overwhelmed, and he wants to visit that lake again that he used to visit in his childhood. Furthermore, he calls the place is calls the lake is not a wild place, even though there is a lot of peace, but it is not a wild place. But he says, as in this quotation, but although it wasn't wild, it was a fairly large and undisturbed lake, and there were places in it which, to a child at least, seemed infinitely remote and primeval. The most important theme in the play is dual existence. The author E.B. White, when he reaches When he reaches the beach, he forgets his reality. Forget his reality, and he starts seeing with the lens of his childhood. He considers himself the son, the father, and his son as himself. So he continues to live with his existence, as he says, I seem to be living a dual existence. So it is a complete amalgamation of past and present. We cannot, or he cannot, never distinguish between the past and the present. As he says, everywhere we went, I had trouble making out which was I, the one who walking at my side, or the one walking in the pants. Nextly, the theme of time is also very important. We can say it is the central theme of the play. Time in the essay remains unchanged, as White continuously says there is no time passed and there had been no years, and the lake remains same. The morning, the tracks, the paths remain same. Nothing has passed. But at the very end of the story, this he finally disillusioned when he sees his son in the rain, and he finally disillusioned that he is no more a child, and he is also going to become a memory, and these memories are everlasting. These memories cannot change. Time may change, peoples may die, but the memory always live in our hearts. Secondly, he also uses the technique of the stream of consciousness. He is following the flow of his mental process. When the story starts, we may say that the story starts start the story in a very uh, commanding manner. But when he gets into the plot, he totally forgets the order, and he totally following his mental process. Whatever he remembers, he just write it down. So there is no order. The story is written in non-linear form, and there is no chronological order. Next, most important thing, he uses a lot of images there, and it is extremely important to notice these images, as he calls the lake a holy spot. For him, it is a holy spot where he goes to worship. And he also calls a cathedral when he was wandering in a canoe. And there are also many other sounds and images. For example, we can hear the chirping of birds, we can hear the singing songs of the boys and the girls. And there are many other sensuous images. For example, when he continuously talks about the roads and the beauty of lake, and about the morning spectacle and the evening spectacle and the afternoon spectacle, and the spectacle of a rain. And he says when it's about to be it's about to rain, there is a quotation. He says, then the cattle drum, then the snare, then the bass drum and cymbals, then cracking light again, the dark, and the gods grinning and licking their chops in the hills. Also, his language is poetic throughout the essay. We see uh, different poetic impulses in his writing, and it seems that he completely lost in the memories of his past. And it seems that memory, that nostalgia, heavily influenced